Good day, this is Peter Varhol from Cpine Software. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about integrating testing into Agile development. Now I'd like to start off by saying, talking about what are some of the drivers to Agile development and talking also about why testers feel left behind and what they can do in order to pursue their craft within an Agile environment. First of all, in terms of the drivers of Agile development, we have the speed of business. How many times have you heard the phrase, "we needed the application yesterday"? When I was first involved in software development about 20 or so years ago, it was not uncommon for the application backlog, that is the time at which it took from you had an approved application, approved beginning to an application, and the end users actually saw that application, was around 3 years. Today that's not at all acceptable. The second driver for Agile development is the rapid changes in business opportunity, and this kind of builds off that first driver. We just see business changing very, very quickly. We see business opportunities, windows of opportunity that are months or even weeks wide. So it's critical to be able to deliver the application just as fast as you can because users need that application to take advantage of a business opportunity, window for business opportunity that is open and will close very rapidly. Users need the opportunity to provide feedback. Oftentimes, what we see is that software development projects fail because we have that long length of time between the beginning of the project, the users obviously see the application, and the business environment changes. Or users decide, well, that's what we asked for, but it's not really what we want. So they need the opportunity to provide feedback to the developers on an ongoing basis. So what we're trying to do with Agile development is to be able to get important features into the hands of the end users or the customers more quickly, make mid-course corrections based on the changing business needs, and also to be able to fine-tune the application with regular and ongoing user feedback. Testers, however, feel left behind because there's no agreed-upon strategy for accelerating testing. We're responsible for the quality and validity of the application, but we're all of a sudden in an environment where we have to turn around the testing very, very quickly, much more quickly than what we're used to. Long lead test plans and procedures simply aren't possible. And test cases aren't even able to be developed until the user stories and features for a particular iteration have been selected. So testers ultimately can't test fast enough. So to be able to do that, they need to be able to prioritize testing, but there's limited strategies for doing so. How many times have you heard the phrase, "everything is important"? Well, you can't live with such an attitude, such a culture within an Agile testing environment. Second, you need defined criteria for prioritizing. If you haven't defined those criteria up front and have gotten buy-in by all the stakeholders in the project, then you have no idea as to what is more important, what is less important, what needs to be tested now, what maybe can be put off until later. There's no easy way to do regression testing either. If you don't have time to do functional testing, then you're certainly not going to have time to do regression testing, and ultimately quality suffers within the application as the testing progress lags. So what you need to be able to do in terms of building an effective Agile testing group is to, first of all, integrate testers at the beginning of the application development lifecycle. Testers need to be there with the business analysts working with the end users, and they need to help define the project, not only in terms of what the users are looking for, but also in terms of the quality levels that are required by the application. And this will enable the testers to be able to get a running start on both the quality of the application and the fitness of the application for its intended use. Second step to building an effective Agile testing group is to be able to focus testing on features that make a difference to users. Remember I said that you can't work in an environment that everything is important and you don't have buy-in from all the stakeholders on prioritizing testing. So you need to define that ahead of time, and you need to focus that testing on the critical features for the users. Once again, testers need early involvement to be able to do that, working with business analysts and also building their test cases by priority. Just as developers choose their features by priority, testers need to be able to build their test cases for the most critical, the most important features initially so that they're able to get that critical feedback from the user community. The next step to building an effective Agile testing group is to be able to ensure that the testers take the lead and the building on the building and the execution of the testing, both functional regression and ultimately acceptance testing and the test cases involved in that. They need to maintain, while working as a team with the developers, because you're not developers, you're not testers, you're an Agile team, they still need to be able to maintain that independence to be able to provide that fresh view into what the application is doing and whether it's fit for use and in terms of both function and quality. The next step is to be able to enable testers to work side by side with developers as the coding decisions are made. Now that's a little bit radical because typically testers are less technical and they kind of back away from the individual decisions. Well, because testing is so accelerated, they need to be able to be involved up front and look at the coding decisions that are being made in real time. That will both help prioritize testing, and also it will help guide them in developing the test cases and also guide development in decision making, because testers can provide immediate feedback to the developers on what are good decisions and perhaps what are less than optimal decisions. The last step is to be able to make automation an integral part of the testing and development and the development process in general. Now, you might think that automation and Agile projects are disjoint sets, are not to be considered together because Agile started through simplicity. However, in reality, automation is actually an integral part of any Agile development process, because you need to be able to look for activities that are repetitive to be able to accelerate them. And in doing so, you also don't want heavyweight tools that require perhaps a toolsmith or perhaps require a lot of upfront learning, a steep learning curve to be able to become proficient on them. What you really want are lightweight tools that support your identifying repetitive tasks and accelerating those tasks. And this is especially true for regression testing. So in summary, Agile projects and Agile methodologies in general are really a brave new world for testers. Ultimately, it's a change for the better because we're better meeting business needs and we're getting ongoing feedback from that user community on what their needs are and how their needs may be changing throughout the total development effort. It also provides testers with involvement in the entire lifecycle process, from the definition of the application all the way through to delivering that application multiple times, new features and the application at the end of the project to the end users. Testers need to be able to step up to this challenge, and I think that these steps to building an effective Agile testing group are one way to do so. And the ultimate goal really is to be able to build a better software that is more appropriate for the end users and to build that better software faster.